Supervisor. Okay, it's 4:34 right now, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on our public meeting. This meeting is called to talk about the fire department fee, due, however you wanna, we're putting that. And I'm gonna let Chief Waltrip explain exactly what the fee is for, how it will be used, and just about the department in general, and then if anybody has any questions, we'll address that after this, after it gets through.
I'll just get over here since this is gonna be kind of show and tell everybody. My name's Dwayne Waltrip, I'm the fire chief here. I started the fire service back in October of 1990, so I'm going on nearly 35 years in this. What we're trying to do is raise funds for the fire department. This stuff is extremely expensive, and it's got a time limit. So what we're trying to do is comply with ISO. That's what your homeowner's insurance is based off of. Right now, we are a 4-4Y. So that's real good for a volunteer fire department. But with the ISO rating, you're required to have certain equipment on each truck. Those trucks also has to be checked, like pump tests, stuff like that every year. So just to give you a breakdown of what we're looking at, now, I took these numbers off of 2024's budget where I tried to get a U.S. Fire Administration grant to replace turnout gear, SCBAs, and stuff like that. If you take monthly bills here, phone, internet, about $1,691. Boaz gas, about $1,200 a year. Alabama Power, about $48. That could be more, it just depends on what the code is. Fire station software, the vehicle insurance, that's about $750 a vehicle. Workman's comp, we're looking at about $15,511. You come on down with stuff that we have to have. Truck and service testing, and I've got the invoices on those if anyone wants to see that. That is from Firefox International. They come from Atlanta, Georgia to do the testing. Those trucks are, let's see, to get all the trucks tested, you're looking at $5,525 a year. The SCBA mask, which I've got it over there, they have to be tested. We've got 21 of those, they have to be tested, they're $1,500 a year. Air compressor, that fills those big bottles. It's what we wear on our backs. Just to service that compressor is $611 a year. Active 911, that's send it out over the phone. We're looking at $150 a year for all the members for it. Radios, we have to pay 911 to dispatch us out. These radios are about $1,800 a year for dispatching. Since I mentioned the radios, that goes with this gear. You're looking to suit up one firefighter just right here. Gloves, helmet, hood, boots, coat, pants. You're looking at $4,800 just for one person. Add this radio, the cheapest one you can find is $2,000. $2,000 to $4,000. We had a wreck last night on 132. Murphy's Valley just bought P2500s, $7,000. They bought 15 of them. So to give you a little breakdown on this, the coat, now one jacket right here, $1,900. The pants, $1,500. The helmet, you're looking at $419. The hood, $50. The leather boots, those things are $595. And the gloves is $129. We have 19 people on roll. This turnout gear has a lifespan, 10 years. We have 1 year left. So to replace 19 sets of gear, you're looking at $92,000 just for that. So that's the gear aspect. Now, when I was talking about what we have to do for the ISO to maintain our rate, these has to be tested every year. They have to be hydro tested. just that pack right there, which is this. And you got that hood right there. You're looking at $7,000 just for this. Not only that, there's a time limit on those bottles. 15 years on those. There's 7 years left on those. We have 42 bottles. There's 21 air packs with an extra bottle for each pack. You're looking to replace those, just the bottles, 42 bottles in 7 years, $57,000 in 7 years. This, when I was talking about the flow testing, they come every year, check every one of these. They have to, NFPA standards. If these are not checked and ISO comes in, well, we're gonna drop. We're gonna drop that. Thermal imaging camera. We have one of these in every frontline truck. MSAs. And one little battery, just because it says fire, $145 for one battery. The way it's specially designed, looks like a camcorder battery, but it won't, a camcorder battery won't work. It has to be that type. Medic bags. That's a different thing when you're talking about fire. When you got the state funding and stuff like that, you cannot buy medical equipment off any of it. To stock that one bag, $149. This right here, that's AED pads, $50 for those. To buy these dots to go on the light pack, you can only buy them in a box or a case, $159. Paper's the same way, $96. This has to be tested every 3 years, $750. We just did that a month ago. Same thing with the Lucas. That's the mechanical CPR. $750 to get it checked. And as I told Matt a little earlier, we ran a call on the Grove. This has been a couple of months back. Pediatric little baby. We had nothing pediatric. So we got the Tim Ramsey. Now we have PD bags on all the trucks. So, and not only does Tim Ramsey help do this, but when we come back up here, the ladder truck, this was 2 years ago. We got the ladder fixed on it, hydraulics. It needed tires, it was dry rotted. Tim gave us $2,500 for me to replace the tires. All this stuff is very, very expensive, but we have to maintain it. So with all the taxes and everything we took in last year, off of 2024 numbers, we took in $20,186. We spent, not counting, fuel, gas for the chainsaws, any low maintenance thing, we spent $25,000. We was $4,000 in the hole. Something as simple as this one bottle of water that you could go to the store and buy for $2. We're not even allowed to take fire department funds and buy that. We buy it out of our pocket or somebody donates it. So that's what we're trying to get the $5 for. $60 a year. I know everybody is in a money crunch. Every family is. But we're trying to save to get equipment to boost everything here in town to help ISO. So your homeowner's insurance don't skyrocket, go up $300, $400, $500 a year. That's what we're trying to do with funds. I saw some comments where they were saying the water board was going to get $2 and a half of this. The water board is not going to get one dime of this. Every bit of the money that is taken in through this, if it passes, will be 100% put on equipment. So that is what we're trying to do. If anyone has a question, I'll be happy to answer it. If anyone wants to go on the other side and see some of the trucks, this is station 1. We got station 2 on top of the hill. Yes.
Is that $5 a month? Is that per water meter, is that
per
what you're
water.
about?
Yes.
How many water meters do you have?
Well, there'll be a total, because what we got now, we're gonna count the apartments as a unit, each one. Right now, the apartments for Silver Street, Acres Drive, and Chestnut Hill, paying $2 for the whole complex. So you're looking at 380 meters or apartments units. That's 340 meters with 40 apartments. It's gonna be about $1,800 a month, about $23,000 a year that we will be able to do this with.
How are you gonna come out when you talk about how much this costs to replace?
How are you gonna be able to do it? You're gonna have to get your main people that's responding, give them good gear. These, you got 7 years. This, we got 1 year.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, that 1 year.
That's it. The only other thing you can do is like the FEMA grants, and I got these prices from Sunbelt Fire. Anybody's welcome to look at this invoice. They kind of knew what was going to happen with the federal government, because once all this was implemented, we put in for the grants. About 6 months later, we get emails, and they've went to financial institutions. Just the turnout gear and the SCBA's to put on those trucks on top of the hill was going to be about $103,000. Well, they got some financial lending thing, and they could loan you the money for a payback of $25,000 a year. So that's the only way you could do that. And that would be on a 5-year term. Be one payment a year for $25,000. That'd be the only way you could get it all at one time. Because if you're gonna suit one person up, it's gonna take you 2 months to do that one person. And there's no way, me, that I would feel comfortable putting somebody's life in turnout gear that's gonna be out of date to go into a burning house. I couldn't live with that consciously if something happened to it. I couldn't. Because the ultimate thing at the end of the day, and I remember this, and what got me to doing fire. I was 6 years old. My granddad lived in Sneed. His house burned. And I remember hearing my granddaddy tell my dad, everything I ever worked for is in flames. I heard my daddy say the same thing almost 19 years ago when his house caught on fire on the street light. And if y'all are like us, and if anybody in town or the community, everybody is like us, you have memories in that house. The main thing is try to get what you can put out to save those memories. Because that stuff you can't get back. But I don't feel comfortable putting somebody in a position that's unsafe. Because that's something, if they was to go down, I'd have to live with it for the rest of my life.
So how much a year has been allocated to the department exactly?
Well, it's all been, we've not had the money to actually do anything. Now, the trucks that we've got is we had sold some equipment and we was able to go to Birmingham Fire and Gadsden and purchase used pumpers. They are old to Birmingham, but they look new to us. It's unlike going like City of Altoona, it's getting theirs in 2027 and it's over $1.5 million. It's a lot different. You know, those trucks was pump tested and every one of them passed. That's good. So that's our plan. That's what we're trying to do. And I hate to ask funding from people, but we don't have much of a choice.
But other municipalities have been doing this for a long time to get money for their fire departments.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man.
Evidently, Walnut Grove has for a while. They charge $2 a month over there.
I think Oniana started out at 5 and they're up to 8 now. So, there's a lot more.
Dwayne, leaving those, we'll call them one cost items, the turnout's $98,000. What's your operating cost a year, not including the one-off purchases? So like this year, what would be your operating cost?
just on the not doing any of this,
No, not, yeah.
you're probably looking at operating costs, count fuel, gas, everything, about 26,000 a year.
Now, as far as the ISO, you mentioned the ISO. Let's say, we're not calling it a tax, we'll call it an investment. So a citizen's investment is going to be around, what, $12, $5, $60 a year is how much they'd have to pay. Can we guarantee they're going to save $60 on their home insurance? Or do you know how that policy works?
Here's the thing, if we're not able to replace the gear and ISO comes in and they check the dates. If you've ever been through an ISO input inspection, it's thorough. They check it, we're not gonna go up. It's not gonna have no much rates and it's gonna cost probably a whole lot more than $60.
Prime example, was it last year or year before last, West Etowah's ISO ratings went up. And, there was members from that community that came and there was some talking about their homeowner insurance going up $2,000 a year because the rating had changed.
That increase was because of the ISO?
Yes, yes.
See, most policies that I think of, it's all included in a disaster policy. So like flooding, damage to storms, fire, it's all going to be under the same policy. So do we have a formula? Do we know how much this ISO matters to it? Because I know the ISO rating when I was in the water board has a number of factors go into it. I think the water department's one, the fire department.
Okay, when they evaluate ISO, what they do is they come in and 50% of your ISO rating is based off of the fire department. That is equipment, trucks, equipment on the trucks, your training. 40% is based off of your water department. So all of the upgrades that we've made over the years, well, the last evaluation they had was in 2022. They already, ISO was checking departments in Etowah County now. They told us at the last association meeting, if you wasn't checked this year, 2026, you will be checked. So we're not far from being checked.
And we're not being bottlenecked by the water department. So like we put all this money, so it's not, okay.
No. Water department the last time got almost, from looking at the book, out of 40 possible points, I think there was 36 points that they got, and that's very, very good. And since then, they've also been other hydrants upgraded and put in, so that's gonna happen.
As far as the equipment goes, grants available, surplus, can we do surplus on stuff like that?
Well,
Can we get
the
that cost
grants
down?
that we put in has been on the federal side, FEMA, US Fire Administration. And since the administrations has changed, every bit of that has been froze. So we know there's not gonna be anything done in this year. And from what we're hearing, there's not gonna be anything done in 2026, but they're encouraging you to put in. So, and just like the trucks up on the hill and these out here, each truck's required to have 1,200 feet of supply line on the back of it, with 400 feet in reserve. We've got 4 Class A pumpers with a ladder truck. We have nothing in reserve. One of the trucks is short a couple of 100 feet, but it's on one of the back trucks that's never used. These are down here are the frontline trucks. So we're gonna put in for those. If there's a grant out there and I can find it, I'll put in for it. But this is where we're at right now.
So you mentioned earlier, and it was one of the questions that I was gonna have, so I'm clarifying, I believe you've answered this, just for my own peace of mind, getting it in my mind right. This, because I wasn't here for the first one, so this, I apologize if this was discussed previously. The $5 a month, $60 a year per water will be exclusively to replace this equipment.
Yes.
There will be no, it's not fuel, it's not learning nothing, it's not power bill, water bill, radio, it is going to be.
No, because what we have coming in a month now takes care of that. We have no replacement cost. That's our big one.
Will this tax in once we have the equipment replaced? Or do you see this going on indefinitely?
I don't know. I'd be afraid to answer that. I don't know what the future holds. Anytime you put fire or police in front of it, the price goes sky high.
But what was utility years ago when y'all first started the whole city agreement?
When I can tell you this from personal experience, when I started in October of 1990, I went to a fire school. That's where I got my 160 out in Blount County. Fire department did not have the money to buy turnout gear. We had cotton duck. That's what it was called. Me and Philip Hutchins showed up at Chief Montgomery's 160 class. We was told that that gear had better never show up on his fire drill. I purchased my own. Back then, everything you see here, and this is 35 years ago, I bought my own for $970 something. That's how much of an increase it's been. You're looking at $4,800.
And also, I will say this, he has went online and tried to find stuff from other fire departments. And he literally has contacted one of the ones in the county and that was wrecked and literally took everything that he could off that fire truck to replace. They told him come do that. But part of the problem is when you go online, like at gov., they, like hose, there would be hose pallets full. And it starts off low and you think, okay, we're gonna be able to get it. Somebody else comes in and get it, and we've been finding out some of that's been people that's buying it up to resell back to fire departments.
Yeah, now since she says that, what GovDeals has done, GovDeals used to sell to municipalities, fire, government agencies. Well, it went public. This was 5 months ago. There was something like 18 tractor trailer loads of fire hose on there, and it was from a big department. I think it's out of Boston. One person bought every bit of it. And that shouldn't be allowed, but it is. So we try to make the dollar stretch as much as we can make it stretch.
Okay, do y'all have any more questions for him?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, so we talked about the funds going towards equipment, which, that sounds great. But you mentioned earlier, putting the, I don't remember how you worded it, so you have to bear with me, the people who were showing up in the newest gear, or something along those lines.
See what, and every department has, same way I talked to Murphy's Valley last night. There's 17 people on the roll. It depends on what the call is. Some medic calls you might have 1, 2, 3 people.
Of course.
Volunteer, if there's a house fire, depends on the time of day, you might have 5, 6, 7. Murphy's Valley, he said he had 21 people on his roll. They might have 5 to show up on the structure fire. And they was gonna give out, they call it StarTech or something that 911 had radios for them to use. And they was debating on how many was gonna be there, and he said the whole roll would be here. Every one of them showed up. So it's, with being volunteer, you can't really say how many you got, you just hope there's a bunch there. But the ones that mainly respond would have to go into the new gear. Unless we did what we was talking about a while ago, what he asked is like the financial company, go to them and say, okay, what do we need to do to be able to get this loan at $103,000 at 5 payments at $25,000 a year? Then you sued everybody. Because some of those that might not show up or that doesn't show up, that one time when you're needing them, they might actually show up.
Right. So it'd take 3 months of fire tax, to buy one new suit, right?
Mhm.
So if this passes, is that the goal, is to immediately start doing that first?
You're gonna have to do this first, because you got 7 years on these.
These-
This part
these-
doesn't feel bad, it's
Right,
this.
so yeah,
And you're looking at, that right there, it looks real sturdy. That is hoop wound fiberglass around aluminum. The aluminum is as thin as a sheet of aluminum foil.
right.
So that's what that is. That's why if you had an aluminum bottle or a steel bottle, they call it hydro testing. That's done every 5 years. As long as it would pass the hydro test, that bottle can be 30 years old. These you can't.
Right.
Because that composite material, expansion and contraction, when we fill these things up, they're hot. And that's from all those molecules jumping around.
So how many sets of turnouts is your goal?
We've got 17 on roll. And when I put in for the FEMA grant in the first of the year, I put in for 22 sets. And that was to have 2 extra sets. Because you can get different sizes, but you don't know what size the person might be that wants to come up and join. Because we want to have all big gear and then somebody real small to come up and want to join. Well, then you got to buy different gear. Because that's another thing, you don't want them wearing too big a gear for them because that could get into a safety aspect also.
The point you just made that I wanted, so we're replacing 19, 17, 22 turnouts. Is there a way to stagger that? So to point y'all just made, can we do like maybe 2 large, a medium, and a small now? And then work 2 more years. I don't know how many people are on the average call, but what I'm saying is instead of doing a cost outright like this, we can do smaller batches and you'll have an expiration period. So I can say,
Everybody's different size. That's the best way.
but what if you did like 2 large, 2 medium, 2 small at once? That way, I don't have
It would fit that person, but every pair of pants is gonna fit totally different. You might have one person that fit one size boot. The size of pants, they go in pant sizes just like your jean size.
So basically,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that,
you
I
would
think the
start with who you actually have, your volunteers,
Right.
and you would start sizing them out that way.
You'd have to get the ones that's coming and then go down.
because I think the hard pill small that right now is at 96,000. But if we can stagger that, that would save money. And then in 7 years, I think you said all of those going to expire in 7 years. So
Every one of those bottles expire in 7 years.
And you said the turnouts expire at the end of 26, or is it like,
It'll be the end of 26. This jacket was made, every one of them has a tag on the inside.
Right.
This jacket was made December of 16. So you'll have December of 16 to replace that. And it's not only affecting us, it is every fire department pretty much across the nation. They all struggle with this. We struggle with gear, equipment, and personnel. That's every department on that.
Does the audience have any questions or comments?
You ever think about doing any kind of fundraisers?
We've done fundraisers. I know I talked to Thomas. They did their breakfast so long ago. And I think he told me the last one they did $800 and they spent $300. And then it's gonna be your same ones that come and does it every month. Then hopefully the people will show up. We've done raffles here before. We've done spaghetti suppers before. And it's really hard to count.
Have any suggestions?
Just asking, I don't know what solution they have. There's one, I know sometimes at New Union up there, they're just breaking even on their breaks. Sometimes those hardly, tend to us, but we kind of keep up. And this not a great amount of money that they're making for the time that they spend. And they charge $10 a plate. I think they did 55 plates, which is $550, and they spent nearly $400 of that for food. So that's not a lot of cushion in there to work with. And then while you're there, you've got your stoves cooking, your power bill's gonna be higher, the lights are on, the water's on. So it's almost a break even when you're doing breakfasts. I appreciate the people that's doing it over Monroe and the Union, but cost efficiency is not what you would think it would be. You could get free food to cook and prepare and profit, but then you can't do that now. The way that,
Yeah. And again, I understand it's coming out of people's pockets, but like last night, we went to McDonald's, 4 people got a meal, And it costs us $54 for 4 people to eat. So,
You know, I'm for this, even though I've got several water meters, but it's beneficial to us to have a functioning fire department. You know, that if you do have a 911 emergency, they will respond.
And
And
then
you're talking about personnel, and there's not very many volunteers here during the day that would respond. And I appreciate the ones that do, but you've got a full-time job. Most of the people that's on the fire department volunteer have full-time jobs.
everybody's got a full-time job.
Yeah, and so that,
And that's not only here. You listen to this radio all day long, you ought to hear, well, it was a little bit earlier, they told Reese City out, Reese City didn't answer, they told Keener out, then they told San Valley out. Nobody is, you know, you don't have a lot of people.
Because you get on average a month, if you had to ballpark it.
It varies. I've got, there's a board over here on this slide that's got every run wrote down on it, every month, how many they are. How many did you count last month? $11, $12.
I know it was our lower.
It was one of the lower months. And we got one at, I think, 1 month it was 29. It just depends.
We were able to respond to all 12 of those, and we have a percentage on how many we couldn't get toned to.
Do it.
Were we able to respond to all of those, or was there like a number that we couldn't tone out to? So like, all the ones that we had, did we
Now,
make it
there
all
were
of
some
them?
calls that nobody was able to go to. That's where they told Walt to go by the West End Law or Egypt.
mutual aid.
Because what we have is a mutual aids.
Right, okay.
So the way 911 does it now is they will tone, and 90 seconds later, if no one is answered, then they go to the next department that is on your list. They tone me. 90 seconds after that, if nobody's answered, they go to your authority.
So of those 12, you don't know how many you responded to Altoona? Did Altoona respond to all 12 of them in the past month, or what was the
Yeah,
percentage?
if it was on that board, we responded to that.
So 12 we responded to on the board. There might have been more that were toned out to us though.
Yes.
We don't have that number.
911 does, but we don't have it. They generally give it to us every month now. Since Will Reed, he used to be the fire chief for Madison Fire, he's took over at 911, and he's doing a lot of different implementing. That's like the 90-second, that was his idea, and it helps.
Okay, if everybody's good with questions, it is already 5:07. So we need to proceed to council, but if everybody's good on everything. Okay, thank you. Okay, Brian, do you mind saying a prayer,
Yeah.
please?
Dear all faithful in council, mayor, members of the public here, dear God, pray that you be with us as we go to the Christmas season, not to forget what this season is about, dear Lord. Pray that you be with them if they make the decision to best brother Altoona and take us safely to our homes. Here, we pray. Amen.
Yeah, I know we don't have a flag, and we are addressing that issue because we're having a lot of these type of meetings, which is good. This is what we want from our citizens, is to come to these meetings, get involved with us. So we're gonna pretend we've got a flag again like we did the last time, say pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I don't watch this chair, we might have a minute call going on here in a minute. Okay. Would council please look over, previous minutes? And let us know if we have any, or if you have any questions.
never had to do this before, so you'll have to excuse me procedurally. I would like to request it notated in the minutes that we agreed to readdress the shortfall at the June council meeting.
In June,
It says at a later date, I just want that to be
Okay.
amended, that we set a date for that.
all right.
Any other questions?
It lists in the minutes, we agreed to readdress the shortfall at a later date. We had said the June meeting, so I just wanted that listed in there. With that addendum, I make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dan,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Vicky. Yes. Matt.
Okay, would council please look over the financials?
You have a question on line 12. What is that acronym? EXCI?
Financial exercise, that's tax from the bank.
Got it. Okay. Is that a month? That come usually monthly? Is it
No,
quarterly?
it's quarterly.
Quarterly. On line 17, I see there's a $2,000 increase. Is that typical this time of year from the water board? More water usage, or how does that work typically?
They reimburse us for, some of the labor, like when our guys have to help with water leaks, and they have one that they worked all night, on the whole crew, so, and that they had a little more in labor.
Thank you.
Make a motion to accept the financial document as presented.
Second.
Dan,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Vicky. Yes. Matt.
Okay, council consider the $5 fire department fee. Do I have a motion to accept or a motion to deny?
Do we have a document listing this, or are we doing it verbally? What is the motion?
What we will do is verbally, if council so choose, we will verbally accept to do the resolution, and then their next council pass the resolution. Second.
Second.
Dan,
Yes. Yes.
No.
Vicky, you abstain, yes, ma'am. And Matt. So we have, 3 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstain.
Okay, Pastor Green with the Lighthouse
Yes, ma'am.
Church. Would you, what about y'all mentioning the documents?
First of all, I would like to thank the city. We started the church here in Altoona in 2002. Accepting us, supporting us, so I want to thank you for that. We have teamed up with State Free Ministries out of Alabama. We're in Park County. We teamed up with Redeemed Recovery Homes out of Blunt County, Aniana. And us being in Etowah County, we want to start transitional housing. I can bring this, and I'm not asking for decisions today, and I'm not here to gripe, complain, or grumble. I'm not here to influence or persuade, but I'm here with an opportunity for the city to help support us in what we're trying to achieve. I'm gonna bring, this is Stay Free's handbook. What'll happen is, our plan is, these people goes, and they'll, I'm gonna say, the residents will be a year in recovery. This tells the rules, the tolerance is 0. They're drug tested monthly with a 0 tolerance. Once they serve their 12 months, minimum, preferably 18 months, we'll try to bring them into a transitional home on our property down here. We're gonna try to get that done. I'm gonna bring this up, and y'all can review it. I'm not asking for answers today. Y'all wanna look at it next council meeting, we can come back and we'll look at it then. Y'all review it. This is the transition. I ain't got the 2 copies, but y'all welcome to pass those around, and that's their handbook. Tells you everything about Stay Free Ministries. We first was talking about building the tiny homes. And it'd be just a bathroom, bedroom, kitchen, then we'll have a washroom. We're trying to do 6 homes. Not all at one time. This is gonna take time, because we don't charge them. We're spending money. But everybody in this room is affected by drug addiction in your family. Either they're dealing with it, or they have dealt with it, or they need to be dealing with it. Now, I'm a recovered addict for 17 years. I celebrated my 30th year this past May. I know what it's like. The problem now is, when I was on drugs, was marijuana, crystal meth, and heroin. Now, you stop at any marathon station and you can get storefront heroin. $20 a bottle. And they're taking 40 and 60 a day. And it's all around here. This transitional home is not gonna bring drug addicts into this community. They're already here. What we're trying to do is make an impact and change lives. We're seeing it. We've been doing this, Celebrate Recovery meetings every Sunday night. We started this year around March. 5 o'clock, we feed. We furnish them meals free. Church pays for it. Don't cost them a penny. We never pass the hat. At 5:30 is cleanup time. 6 o'clock, praise and worship. We go in and take the 12-step program and have a testimony. We have seen families restored. We've seen marriages restored. Not all. Don't think everything. This past Sunday before Thanksgiving, we might have had 100 people there, and you might have affected 20. But that's the game, or that's the way it is. We're not complaining, but the batting average for Stay Free Ministries, if you want to, you can look them up online. They are tremendous. What I mean by that is, when they get somebody that sticks in there, they have a tremendous batting average of them recovering and getting their families back. We first thought about building the tiny homes, and this is one of my deacons, Daniel Fontaine. He had this idea. We thought, well, we'll get campers. We'll make them look neat, and they're gonna be trashy. I promise you, we're not gonna have that. We're gonna clean it up. They're gonna look good. But I found out we have an ordinance against campers. What our idea was is these people can stay. They're gonna stay there for a year. They have an option to buy that camper. So we're gonna get them jobs. They have to work. Stay Free to you. They have to work. Stay Free. They transportation back and forth to work, but they get a percentage of that money. With this, they can pay payments on that camper. When their year is up, then we'll help them find either a spot of land to put that camper on, or one, you've seen these little spots come up where you can put a camper, they charge you $400 or $500 a month. That's really not bad when they pay your water bill and your electricity bill. It's really not bad, but anyway, we try to help them find a home where they have something to work for, so they can get their life restored. And then I was addressed with the ordinance against the campers in the city limits, so. And I guess I'm asking, could we review that, or is there a way that, since I'm on the outskirts, is that possible, or I gotta go with a tiny home? And we do start this, it'll be a 4 phase. And it's gonna take me 6-8 months before you see the first home built properly. Our first phase will be putting in the sewer system, septic tank, and pads, whether we do the trailer or the home. There'll be the septic tanks and the pads. Phase 2, be the electrical and the plumbing, the water. There'll be some more meters. And then the fifth stage would be either moving the resident in and security cameras. Every resident will be under surveillance 24/7 on our cameras. Zero tolerance. If they make trouble, if they test positive, they'll be drug tested monthly and randomly. If we see suspicion of drugs, it's right there on the spot, and they sign that paper. You'll see where they sign a paper giving us that right. I just need to know, and I'm not saying you answer tonight. I'm gonna ask you this: go home, pray about it. You'll pray. If you pray, go home, pray about it. And if you feel like you'd like to help us out with the campers, because I think it helps the people. Either way, if we don't do the campers, we're gonna build the tiny homes, and we're gonna try to accommodate for 6 people. I just ask for the city support. Yes, sir.
My son's actually in state free. He's 6 months sober. He wasn't drug, he was alcohol. I'm a 23-year recovered addict. The drug test, he was a little wrong on that. It's random. If there's a suspect, if you doing something, they're gonna pop you. They'll give you one time to start over at state free, but you go all the way back. It don't matter if you like a month finishing. You go all the way back to the first step. So you start over brand new. I know I can count 10 people that I know that has completed that program and is living a successful life. But as a recovered addict, I know y'all, I don't know none of y'all, but I know this man right here. When I come out of addiction, the worst thing when I wanted to get out of addiction, the worst thing I could do is go back to my family. Because a lot of our problems is created out of families. So if we don't get away from them, if we have to go right back in the household where there's drinking, there's drugs, it don't matter what drug it is. Your success rate of being out of addiction is fairly nothing. But I think giving somebody a leg up is a lot better than taking their money, and then when they complete the program, they've got nothing. Now these people's got somewhere to live and actually start building on a life. Because I started with nothing, and it's hard. And I've always had this image because of my problems as a young adult. I want to help people. And as having a son, I come to this man and ask for advice because I was going to leave my son in jail when he got licensed to go out. I'm tired of it. That man right there can tell you, I don't put up with no crap out of my kids. I don't like it. And if I'm going to be involved in this, it's going to be a very low tolerance. If they're doing wrong, we can't do it. Because we want you to be successful in life. Because there is success after failure. But you've got to have guidance and structure to get you to that success. So I hope y'all really consider this, like you said, pray about it. I mean, if we can work around, do a few things different, we're willing to do what we got to do. We just want to help people.
What we will do is have the council give them time to review everything, and then we'll get back with you so y'all can come back to us. But council definitely needs the opportunity to review things. Our ordinance, I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of be honest with you. That ordinance was put in place for a special reason. Well, not a special reason. We're just trying to make our town better. And council can discuss that and everything, but I will say, and I totally agree and appreciate the work that y'all are doing. It's just, I feel like that if we make an exception on one side of the town, then we're gonna have people come back, well, that's not fair because you didn't make that exception for me. But like I said, right now, I'll get it to the council, get them a copy of all this so that they can look at it and discuss it, and then we'll get back in touch with you. And I do appreciate what you're doing. It's a lot, I know, so thank you. We have a resolution. At the last meeting, we discussed about the town taking ownership and care of the cemetery on top of Altoona Mountain. and that was passed, and so now it's time for the resolution, so if everybody's still in agreement with this. Okay, so can I have a motion to accept the resolution?
I'm making a motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Dan,
Yes, ma'am.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes, ma'am.
Vicky, yes. Diane.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I need council to consider abatement at 7275 7th Avenue. This is over there by the softball field. This, we actually had neighbors, this came in and request the abatement. We get it cleaned up and then it gets back in the shape that it does again. So this time we're addressing it and we're not gonna keep doing this cycle over and over again. We're looking at our next step after this one, but we need to do abatement on it to get it cleaned up again. Too many. Too many. Oh, it's been even more than that.
It's, I mean, this has been going on. Like, we're probably at 5 or 6 or 7 at this point. It was the first one that was addressed when it was originally passed. Like the first abatement signature was done, I believe, was on that property.
Yes.
All the rest of the streets looking really clean, clean those other houses up really well.
And just for everybody's clarification, this is, we're making a motion for the town to go in, do the clean, and place a lien against the property.
No, this one is for to send the letter out and let them know that that property has to be cleaned up. And then we're working with Phil on if this goes past this time again, what we legally can do to this.
So this is, is this one of the properties we've sent letters to before?
Yes,
So this is just another letter?
it is another letter, but this is what we're working with on Phil, and that's why I'm waiting before we do anything. That once they get this cleaned up, then we can go back and say this is, if anything comes up again. And this time, because it's a rental property, that's the big thing. This letter, and in the past has went back to the owner, but something's gotta be done. So we've got to at least send out one more letter to get them to clean up.
Gotcha.
And then Bill is working with us to take the next step on what we need to do as a town.
So this is just a motion and a vote to send the letter again?
Yes.
To the property, okay.
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we address that in the letter.
I second.
Let me ask a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Now, you talking about the property by the sergeants used to live? Where you at? I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, Alpha Sergeant.
Yeah.
Okay, now you gonna send them a letter. What about the mobile home right below them? With stuff in the backyard? Kilgore Street. Do you follow me?
I do, and if you're asking if we can put them on the
Yeah,
list,
they need to be, cause this stuff is piled everywhere back to the mobile home.
absolutely, absolutely. And that was the whole thing that we discussed a few months ago. It's not just a grass use and abatement
Right.
anymore.
I mean, if you go by there, you'll understand what I'm saying.
Do you know what that address is?
I don't know, it's Kilgore Street. It's right across from Danny. It's right there where Miss Kilgore used to live.
Okay. Let me see,
Has a pickup truck.
Yeah, my wife picked up some in the yard.
let me see if we can get an address so we,
36.
So does that need to be separate or does it need to be one together?
it can be one together. So is everybody?
Really, the place is right there where where she used to live. It's called where Billy Kilgore used to live. Mobile home.
Okay.
See, I'll, amend to include things that, include both properties.
And then you still-
Motion,
Still
that's what I was looking for.
Dan,
Yes, ma'am.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes, ma'am.
Vicky. Yes. Diane.
Okay. So, the parade is tomorrow night. We will have vendors coming in, set up by 5 o'clock, and we've asked them to go from 5 to 9. The parade will actually start at 7 o'clock. If any council member can work and help us, we will gladly take your help. We never turn help down. Yes, it's gonna be bitter cold. Hopefully it will not be raining, but it's Christmas time. It's supposed to be cold for a parade, so. But if you can help us, will you please let Teresa know? So we've already heard from a couple that's gonna be able to help, but, there's different areas that we gotta make sure is covered and everything. As far as I know, the rain is scheduled to be out of here during the daytime, so. Also, we have 2 dumpsters, correct, up on top of the hill, for our citizens to use, and they will be there till Monday for the fall cleanup. And then they will pick them up Tuesday morning. All right, Sylvester, do you have anything, sir?
Yeah, if you could get the guys to check some of the roads, got some potholes.
Okay. Is there any certain roads that?
Yes, really to check them all, because you got some that's shallow holes, but you got 1 or 2 that's got pretty good size holes.
Okay.
They would just check them all.
Okay.
If I see anything, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything else? Okay. Dan, do you have anything?
No, ma'am, not this time.
Matt?
Yes, since October, the police department had 20 reports, had 6 arrests, 34 tickets, 7 warnings, picked up 7 dogs. And Chief Beatty was telling me 2 of the arrests was felony arrest, and the others were misdemeanors. And do you have anything to say?
We're just working on 2 more burglaries, so hopefully we'll get close.
And
Find who that is.
we will be holding the court, next Tuesday. And if I'm not mistaken, we have around 43 cases.
That's 48.
48 cases scheduled for Tuesday night.
Let me ask one, are we allowed to burn now or what?
Yes, fire chief.
I forgot.
The burn ban is up. We do ask all citizens that when they do get ready to burn, to just be thoughtful of the weather conditions and make sure we've had some rain, which we've had some rain too, so, just use caution, but yes. Man, I'm sorry. Did you have anything else?
Yes, if you admit fire, what he was speaking about earlier, we had 9 medical calls, 1 structure fire, and
1 grass
fire.
Alex?
No, ma'am, nothing at this time.
Okay. Vicky?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Okay. All right, you know what the key is? Oh, I'm sorry.
We talked about it last council, the food drive, and we have had the box at City Hall, and we have gotten some food. That's gonna be taken up to the school tomorrow. Spoke with them today, and they said they had several families that they send, children that they send food home with, so that will be sent up to the school tomorrow and, sent home with some kids up at the school. And the Toys for Tots will be picked up in the morning as well, but, are you gonna continue the food through?
We can, we can continue at least for another month, through Christmas.
We'll take that to the school, but we will have that box in the lobby there if anybody wants to.
They will appreciate you playing over there for a second and stuff and explaining to everybody how much it actually costs.
Like I said before,
I didn't understand how much everything had went up.
if anyone wants to see anything on the side, I'll be happy to go over and show you.
Does anybody else have anything? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Merry Christmas and hope to see you at the parade tomorrow night.